Hi, welcome to the How Do I video series on Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015. My name is Mark Brummel and I'm an MVP for Microsoft Dynamics NAV. We will look at the scope property, a new property introduced in NAV 2015 to be used with the web client and the tablet client. We will do this in 3 steps. In the first step, we will look at the behavior of the property in the tablet client and then the differences with the web client. And finally, we will change the property and see how this affects the behavior. One of the application areas where this property has been implemented is the customer ledger entries. We can go there by selecting a customer with history and then go to the customer ledger entries. On this page we can see 2 buttons to perform an action. One of the buttons is on the right hand of the screen, easily accessible with your right hand thumb on a tablet. The other actions are with a smaller icon that would probably require the use of your finger. The actions in both menus are different, which is caused by the scope property. If we look at the same card in the web client, so we go to the customers and ask for the ledger entries for a customer, we can see that in a web client we can also select actions from the same button, but the option that we have in the tablet client on the right hand side doesn't exist. Let's go to the development environment and look at the page definition. The customer ledger entries are page number 25. When we design the page, we have to select page actions. And let's start with the first one. Here we can see that the property for scope has been set to repeater. This means that the action is visible in the small selection window per line, but not in the big button that we can access with our thumb from the right in the tablet client. To see an action that is visible with the big thumb button, we have to go to Navigate or Show Posted Documents. Here we can see that the value of the scope property has been left to the default value, which is page. From the perspective of the tablet client, this means that the action can either appear on one of the 2 places, but not both. Before we will see what happens if we change the navigate to the repeater, let's look at both clients again. We can see that in the tablet client we can use the navigate with the big thumb button, but we don't have the navigate action in the small button. In the Windows client we can see that in the small button we have the same options and the navigate doesn't appear here. Now let's change the scope to repeater and save the page. In the web client we will step back and go to the entries again, and now we can see that the navigate doesn't exist in the big access button anymore, but it now moved to the small button. And if we open the ledger entries in the web client, we can see that the navigate is also available here. In this video we have learned how to use the scope property, a new property introduced in NAV 2015 to be used with the web client and the tablet client. We did this by looking at the tablet client, the web client, and changing the property to see what changes in the UI. The topics we covered in the video are the differences between the web client and the tablet client from the perspective of the scope property. Thanks for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you again in another episode of the How Do I video series for Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015. This video is made in collaboration with Plataan, a Microsoft Dynamics Learning Center from Belgium, and Microsoft.